winning connections of Eastern Princess, who won the Tessio Stakes, a Group 3 race for mares, just a little while ago here at the Valley. And the Tessio Stakes is sponsored by the Thoroughbred Owners Association and Arrowfield Stud. And he's got a big smile on his face, young Brett Preble, hasn't he? Well, talking about main players here at Moonee Valley today, one of the most important players is John Hawkes. Anne-Marie Sparkman was talking to him earlier and asking him about champions making comebacks. Let's pick that up again.
People are saying that would it be the greatest comeback performance since the Kieran Perkins swim in Atlanta. Would it make him the Kieran Perkins of the turf?
Oh, I got no doubt about that. It'd be, you know, fantastic if he did. I mean, he came back at Caulfield, which was great, but I mean, this is the top of the tree stuff, and you know, even with Darren riding him too, I think that'll make it even, you know, that little bit special again. He hasn't won on the horse, so. But we're really looking for a super day, and I mean, it'd be absolutely sensational if he could, you know, come out and win again, win back-to-backs. No 3-year-old has done that before, so, you know, to win at 4 would be unbelievable.
Do you get emotional about this horse? You've nurtured him for a very long time. He's been a good mate for a long time now.
Yeah, well, you know, everybody says because they're good horses, but, you know, I bought him as a yearling with Jack and Bob, and we've taken him a long way from sort of the bottom right to the top, and you get a bit of affinity with the horse, and his character and everything is just unbelievable. As I said, he knows where the cameras is, he knows where the winning post is, and as I said, a horse that wins 7 Group 1 races, you sort of got to have a little bit of affinity with him, and win or lose today, really, in that respect, you know, won't change, you know, how I feel about the horse, but to win, well, that would be just something sensational.
We can thank Peter Hayes for that little symbol behind your head just before. Now, you've got another one, of course, and everyone's saying is a 3-year-old Anthems. He may be one to watch.
I think he'll run extremely well, Anne-Marie, but he's come up a lot of 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds this year. When we were sort of running last year with Octagonal, I mean, the 4-year-olds were going good, but I don't think they're perhaps going as good as this year. But he can't do much more than he's done. You know, his form's very, very good. He was a bit unlucky in the Guineas, but they are an exceptional bunch of 4- and 5-year-olds. So he's really going to have to be right on his mettle today. But he's got no weight, so I think he'll be very competitive.
So what are you telling me to do? Get on the Quinella, get on Octagonal? What should I be doing with my money?
Just get on Octagonals.
Thanks, John, and good luck.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
If ever a man loved a horse, John Hawkes loves Octagonal. And he mightn't be favoured in the betting ring, but he'll sure be the sentimental favourite with punters here at the Valley today. Ken Sutcliffe, they love Octagonal.
Yeah, I reckon running a close second, your mate Simon O'Donnell in that one. OK, we're out enjoying a day at the races. It's easy to forget just how risky the horse racing can be for participants. We were tragically reminded of that on July 31 this year when Hayder McNeish and David Wilkes died in separate race falls in Queensland. The question of safety is always on the minds of the sports administrators, and as Charles Stewart reports, positive action is being taken.
It's a split-second thing, you know, it's a split second between life and death.
Unfortunately, when I was 18 years old, I carried my mate's coffin to the funeral, to his grave. I was a pallbearer at his funeral. His name was David Green. We were roommates.
In racing, catastrophe is a constant companion. Even the best can come unstuck. Darren Beadman has escaped serious injury in his falls, but knows he may not always be so lucky. Recent deaths have emphasised the risk. It's a risk Beadman feels some younger jockeys may be ignoring.
To be able to see an apprentice on the inside of you clipping heels, it only takes one inch more and he's down on the deck. And, you know, when I do come in, I always try and sort of just give them that little bit of a hand and just tell them to give their horses a little bit more room. You know, I think, you know, a lot of it's they're trying to be too competitive and they're trying to sort of ride the same style as what, you know, the sort of the top-level jockeys are, but they just haven't got the experience behind them to do that. To give you an
example, I had 10 race falls in my career. The 10 of them weren't my fault and 8 of them were avoidable. So perhaps I should still be riding and not here teaching you.
Former jockey Maurice Logue is now passing on his experience to young jockeys at the AJC's Apprentices Academy. His career was ended by injury.
I have fractured 3 vertebrae and I've broken 7 ribs on one occasion. I've broken other ribs apart from that, a collarbone, and I've also fractured a pelvis. I've broken a foot and several sprains and that type of thing.
Running up to the turn, and Crazy Man put the head in front now from Durbark, with Air to Bungadore going up 3 wide. Now there's a triple fall coming to the home turn.
If you do happen to have a fall and you're conscious and you have people run over to you, on this occasion I had people come over to me and they were going to drag. I couldn't move. I didn't know what had happened. I couldn't move my legs or anything. I'd fractured my pelvis, and that's why I couldn't move them. They were going to drag me out underneath the running rail because my horse was laying on the ground. The worst thing you can do is move a person before the ambulance gets there, and I pleaded with them to go and sit on the horse, not to let the horse up and to leave me on the track.
Traditionally, jockeys have been indentured to trainers who pass on the skills of the sport. The Jockey School aims to raise the standard of the training and make it more uniform. Well, what is it that you try to instill in the apprentices in the school here?
Well, I think some of the things that I was taught when I was apprentice, and that's basically to respect your fellow rider and to make sure that you do give them the 2 lengths and you also stay 2 lengths behind them. So basically that prevention is a lot better than cure.
Jockeys associations and stewards are looking at one other measure to improve the safety for riders. For some time now, jumps jockeys have been wearing safety vests, and these are now being considered for general use. Human impact engineer Tom Gibson has been engaged to set guidelines for the manufacture of such vests.
The vest can significantly spread the load so that it will reduce the likelihood of things like rib fractures, and it should be able to have a fair effect on internal injuries as well. But it won't eradicate them totally, it will just reduce the chances of getting such an injury.
Now, the only thing that really we've got for protection is the skull cap. You know, you look at all the footballers that do have body contact sport and cricketers and whatever. Well, you know, when they do get a hit with a ball or a hit with a body, another body, they have a protection there for them. And you know, there's been circumstances overseas where it is mandatory to have them and compulsory, and you know, it's saved guys' lives, and if it just saves one life, it's a bonus.
Yes, it's something we don't always think of when we back losers, jockey safety, but really, every time they go out on the track, there's a risk involved.
Yeah, certainly is a big risk involved. They're very courageous young men and women that go out onto a racetrack on a racehorse. Good luck to them.
Simon, the Moir Stakes, a speed test. I just thought Ruffles was outstanding at Caulfield last week. I think she'll win again. And looks outstanding also. Looked outstanding in the parade pre-race. Lion Hunter looked exceptionally well, but I'm going to stick with number 1, Sword, out of the Jack Denham stable, Mick Dittman to ride. I thought he looked very hard from barrier 4. I think will be hard to beat. OK, Sword's just firmed on the tote. Let me have a look at these prices. I had Sword at 5 to 1. He's now into about $4.70, which is about 3 3/4 to 1, or 15 to 4. Number 2, Red Hope, is a 25 to 1 chance. Royal Rubiton is at 30 to 1. Grand Bay, TAB number 4, is at 25 to 1. The same price as Fighter Bay. Ranchburg, he's a roughie, 100 to 1. 10 to 1 for Rye Hero, about $10.90 to be exact. Kingston Calling in the Kingston Town colours is at 60 to 1. Lion Hunter, $2.50, exactly 6 to 4, 1.5 to 1. Ruffles, she's showing at $7.40, almost 6.5 to 1. I took 5s off the bookies, I'm getting robbed. Street Talk at 25 to 1. Spartacus at 12 to 1. I Love to Dance as a scratching, 30 to 1 for Apple Danish. Happen, a stablemate, or not a stablemate of Ruffles, owned in the same interests as Ruffles by Sydney bookmaker Colin Tidy, and his wife is at 100 to 1. And Heads I Laugh at 40 to 1. OK, they're starting to put them in here. Gary Willits, did you have a thought on the Moir Stakes?
It's going to be a very fast run race, Ken. You've got Street Talk, Really Motors, Lion Hunter. One I did have an interest in was Rye Hero. Johnny Mars had him in a few times and pulled him out to get a good track, so he might be the one that might be storming home over the top of them.
OK, they're behind the barrier, or most of them are in the barrier as I speak. Jock Galogley, what caught your eye?
They're having a bit of trouble with our tip here, Kenny, getting little Ruffles in. They've had a head towel over her head, a blindfold, but they've taken it off. And she's in a cranky mood, but she's done that before. But if they get her in, hopefully they will shortly. She looks magnificent. Sword spot on condition. And Lion Hunter, he came round very quietly on his own. He's not sweating at all and absolutely striking in appearance. But I'm going to stick, mate, Ruffles, Sword and Lion Hunter.
Simon O'Donnell, Ruffles is a lady with a mind of her own, or I should say most ladies have got minds of their own, haven't they? But she often plays up like this. Don't let it put you off her.
Yes, we had a good yarn the other week about the barrier attendants at Caulfield. Have a look at them today. You see them locking arms there behind Ruffles to basically overpower and push her in, force her in there. They grab the ears to give a bit of guidance to go into the barrier stalls. There's 6 of them, 7 of them now. They lock the arms behind to push her in. They are real horsemen that can do this, and they show a fair bit of courage like the jockeys as well.
To steal a line from Johnny Tapp, it was manpower overcoming horsepower. And there's the favourite, Lion Hunter, 260 now on the TAB. And talking of Johnny Tapp, let's cross to him.
Good on you, Ken. Yeah, Ruffles, as you recall, last week when she won at Caulfield, knuckled over badly at the start. Mick Dittman almost parted company with her. Whether or not that had anything to do with Mick changing his mind today and taking the ride on Sword is problematical. Ruffles, ridden by Greg Hall, will lack nothing on the score of horsemanship. Gee, it's a smart field. Jock Galogly pointed out how relaxed Lion Hunter was as he went to the barrier. He's had only 3 starts. Some of these have had 30, 40 odd starts, and none of them were more relaxed than this amazing Queenslander, Lion Hunter. Ridden by Michael Clark, he carries very spectacular colours, which are crowned by a black and white checkered cap. And he's a lovely grey horse by Dane Hill, out of Pure of Heart, who was a grey mare. Now Happen stands up nicely, so does Grand Bay. Fighter Bay has the inside gate. Ruffles is in, and Greg Hall has now climbed back on board. I think Red Hope is the one they're having trouble placing into the gates. He's trained in South Australia by Mark Kavanagh. Carries those bright tangerine and green colours with matching blinkers. And he's been a pretty good performer, Red Hope. Now he's there. And they look to be set for a start in the Moir Stakes, principal sprint event of the day. Grey skies over Melbourne. Light flashing on top, and they're ready to go. They're off in the Moir, and one of the first out is Heads I Laugh towards the centre. Spartacus is away brilliantly wide out, so is Street Talk. Ruffles began well. Kingston Calling is scooting through towards the lead. Fighter Bay with the inside running is prominently placed. Now there's Lion Hunter squeezing between horses, and he'll be in front in a moment. Lion Hunter takes over as they come to the 600 metres mark. Spartacus second, Street Talk third, caught 3 deep, followed by Grand Bay. Fighter Bay, Sword is nicely placed, a length or so to Apple Danish. Kingston Calling. Further back then is Ruffles at the head of the others. Royal Rubiton, Happen losing ground, then Rye Hero, Heads I Laugh, and Ransburg and Red Hope as last as they come around the corner into the straight. Lion Hunter looks flat. Spartacus on the outside joins and heads him as they turn for home. On the outside, Street Talk is running on, followed by Sword and Apple Danish. Spartacus the leader with 100 to go. Here's Apple Danish charging down the outside with Rye Hero, but Spartacus is holding them at bay, and Spartacus wins the Moir. Rye Hero got second, Apple Danish third, followed by Royal Rubiton, Kingston Calling, Ruffles and Sword. Lion Hunter folded up, and then Street Talk and Heads I Laugh, and well back Fighter Bay, followed by Grand Bay, and Ransburg is well back towards the tail of the field with Happen in the Moir Stakes. And Red Hope is also back with the tail enders. I lose sight of them briefly just after they go past the post. There's a great big stanchion right in front of me, and I have trouble seeing the last couple as they pull up, but the last horse was Red Hope. Spartacus $12.40 and $3.30, Rye Hero $2.70, and Apple Danish $7.10. Spartacus is trained by Rick Hoare Lacey, who won a Golden Slipper some years ago with Canny Ladd. Shane Dye rode Canny Ladd, and he also rode Spartacus. And it's interesting to note, Ken, that this was Shane's first ride all day. As you know, he's been wasting hard to ride Anthems in the Cox Plate. I don't think he wanted to overbook himself.
No, and he's won another group race, Shane Dye. He prides himself on being a group winning jockey. And when Spartacus raced past Lion Hunter at the top of the straight, let's stop them there. There's Lion Hunter, Spartacus, Street Talk, and Apple Danish here. Ruffles, she couldn't go on. The widest of all was the horse who eventually run home and run second, Rye Hero. Let's let them roll again, and that was Sword I missed there in the centre. And as we pick them up from the inside, he's had enough, the favourite Lion Hunter. Spartacus dashes clear. Street Talk couldn't quite go on. Then neither could Sword. Wider out is Apple Danish. She starts to motor home, but not as quickly as Rye Hero, and it's actually Rye Hero down the outside that gets closest to Spartacus and gets up to run second, with Apple Danish in number 14 in third place. Anne-Marie Sparkman is with Winning Connections.
Rick Lacey, a beautiful win by Spartacus there, coming past Lion Hunter.
Right, what's your name? I haven't seen you before.
Anne-Marie Sparkman, I come to the big races.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was a really good race, yeah.
Do you expect him to come home that fast?
Well, yes, he's got a lot of speed, but he went away from it at the finish. I thought that was his best part of his race.
Obviously, Lion Hunter was the one the crowd were on.
Yes, they were, but he didn't look too good on the turn, did he?
Shane Dye, his first race today. Nice ride.
Shane thought he'd win it, and he would have won, I'm sure, last week, but the wet track beat him.
Very pleased with that performance, I'm sure. Congratulations.
Anne-Marie, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Rick Lacey's a terrific judge of horse flesh, not such as good a judge of women, Simon. He should have known the lovely Anne-Marie.
Yes, I was surprised he didn't know. As we have another look at the replay, there's Spartacus in the yellow with the brown colours, the chestnut. Shane Dye with the whip in the right hand. And that's Apple Danish right next to Spartacus. And then a little further out was Rye Hero, who finished home very strongly for second. Look, a good ride for Shane Dye. Getting a look at the track before the Cox Plate.
And Alan Gologly, Jock Gologly's now with Shane Dye.
Made a bit of sense of déjà vu. You won that race last year.
Well, let's hope I'm talking to you after the next and not now.
Ever have a good run through the race?
Well, I did. They went hard early, and Lion Hunter carried me across. I had a perfect run.
Best of luck.
Didn't say a lot there, Shane Dye. He's usually more talkative, but he let his actions do his talking because he got Spartacus home first. All he needs to do now is weigh out correctly. That will be a formality. So why don't we take this moment and have another break from racing on BMW Cox Plate Day here at Moonee Valley.
There is nothing like winning, and you can see the connections of Spartacus. Race 5 here at Moonee Valley, the Moir Stakes, and there they are, enjoying the moment. The horse ridden by, of course, Shane Dye, and what a good win it was for him. And there's the gentleman who wasn't quite sure who Anne-Marie Sparkman is, but we certainly do. Well done, Anne-Marie. Spartacus, $12.40, $3.30, Rye Hero, $2.70, and Apple Danish paid $7.10. Volante, in French, it means shooting star. And today, the star could become the brightest light on the Australian turf scene if he can win the Cox Plate. The 4-year-old Epsom winner by British sire Star Way was named by his doting owners, Jeff and Beryl White. The couple never missed their boys' moments. And despite being involved with the racing game for 20 years, Beryl admits she sometimes needs a quiet brandy to settle the nerves. Anne-Marie Sparkman reports.
But it's all Volante. Mighty Mick, Jeff and Beryl White's great 4-year-old Volante is annihilating them in the Warwick Stakes. He wins pulling up.
I get very carried away and I get goosebumps even thinking about last Saturday. But he's so lovely. He's just the perfect horse.
So do you go up and give him a kiss and tell him that you're his mum?
Oh, he knows I'm his mum.
He knows that?
Yes, oh, definitely.
Come on, fella.
After your family's grown up, we've got a whole new family, all horses.
You know them all by now?
Yeah, they're all by now.
We fight more about that now than we did with the kids.
Jeff and Beryl White should be happy. Look at them. I think they've got one of the best horses in the country, if not the best horse.
Jeff and Beryl White have had some very good kids over the years. The best so far was champion filly Trisquet, who won nearly $2 million. Now the favourite child is a handsome 4-year-old chestnut. His name, Volante.
The leader, Saintly's a length and a half behind them, trying desperately, but Volante's holding Saintly easily at bay. Volante with Dittman peeping over the shoulder, wins it well over Saintly.
Such is his ability and potential that Volante has even touched the heart of the most taciturn of trainers, the man they nicknamed Happy Jack Denham.
His emotion gets really emotional about him, but he has said publicly, which he's never done before, that he thinks he could be the best horse he's trained.
That's after 40
and that's
years.
A big statement.
A big statement.
Volante has also helped resurrect Mick Dittman's career. The jockey they dubbed the Enforcer constantly phoned Denham to make sure he would be on the horse this campaign.
He wants to try all the time. He doesn't shirk his task. If things go wrong in a race, he still wants to sort of get to the line. So he's got all those attributes that will make him, you know, an outstanding racehorse.
Unfortunately for Mick, suspension meant watching Ferlante's greatest triumph so far from the grandstand, not the saddle. Brian York was the lucky man who stepped in and helped win the Epsom with ridiculous ease.
Well followed by Iron Horse, but it's all Ferlante with 100 to go. All our mob is trying his heart out, but Ferlante, like the shooting star from which he gets his name, comes right away to win the Epsom brilliantly from all our mob, and Iron Horse has run third. Buzz off a big run from Catlin opening Peruzzi, Flight to Fantasy.
The further he went, the stronger he got. Come up the rise, he was just going after it. Nothing would have got past him today.
He's just a perfect horse. Perfect horse. You really couldn't find anything wrong with him. I'd like to put him in the show, I reckon. I really want to feel it. I don't think Jack would let me, mind you, but...
Up on the outside,
all the other ones.
Exploded to the front of the 200 mark.
Just like proud parents, Jeff and Beryl never tire of watching their boys' achievements.
How many times would you have watched the Epsom, Beryl?
I'd say at least 6. On the first day.
You had to fear that to be right the first day. That afternoon when we got home, we've watched it 4 times today already.
So, Jeff, sometimes it's a bit of stress relief for you.
You have a rough day in construction and come home and just sit down there and put the golden slipper on or the Epsom on, all your worries go away.
For Beryl, nerves are her greatest enemy. 10 days ago, she suffered with Ferlante when he finished a gallant second in the Kunji Handicap, loaded down with 62 kilograms. Mick Dittman was not a popular man with either the punters or Happy Jack.
I was just off the bit of trying to chase him. Well, they all like to win. You can't blame them. He was short price favourite. It's just that things don't always go right. You know, the best of them get beat. I don't care how good they are. They won't win all the time. But you know, he's an outstanding racehorse, and it'd be fitting if he could win the Cox Plate.
Ferlante's not a millionaire yet. His record, 5 wins from 12 starts for nearly $800,000 in prize money. He cost $220,000 at the yearling sales. Still improving and a stallion, he has become a blue-chip investment. This preparation he has won 3 times, been beaten only once by Juggler in the George Main. Today will be the ultimate test for supremacy.
Do you think he can win the Cox Plate?
Yes, we do.
We hope he can win the Cox Plate.
So you're certain, Jeff, and you're hoping, Beryl?
Oh, well, I'm always hoping. I'd never commit to say we can win.
Anne-Marie, he will go in favourite, I would think, and I think we're in with a very big chance.
The great people, the Whites, yeah, they've had some great horses over the time. You know, I'm sure they think this fellow's the best of them. And, you know, there wouldn't be any more fitting people in racing to win a Cox Plate than these people, I can assure you.
And what do you think you'll be like on Cox Plate Day?
Oh, I'm trying not to think too much about it.
A bit of a basket case.
Oh, I think so. Maybe a couple of brandies beforehand will help.
Well, you can't keep that man down, Shane Dye, and there he is as he comes into the picture. When the big races are on, he's hard to beat, and he was seen to advantage on Spartacus, and he was certainly very, very happy after the race.